Alright, hello guys. Welcome back to the next lesson in the intermediate course for SEDA Online. Very happy to see you all here again today. I hope you enjoyed our previous lesson, and I hope you're thinking about those things because we're going to be talking about some of those things here again in this lesson today. So have a moment, get your computers set up, get everything logged in, get comfortable, because it's time to start again and start another lesson. I'm again broadcasting here from Dublin. All right, so let's get going. So as always, I'll start with the lesson overview. That way you know what to expect from the whole video. So grammar, we're going to be talking about future forms today. We'll focus on 3 future forms: will, present continuous, and be going to. I'm sure you've worked with some of these future forms already, probably will, if not the others. So it's an interesting part of English grammar and English linguistics because the secret is that English does not have a future form. I know, what? So many languages will change the verb to show time. They will change for the past, they will change for the present, and they will change for the future. Interestingly, English only does the two. We change for the present and we change for the past. We have, that ed ending, or we'll actually change a verb, something like break and broke. But for the future, we don't do that. We don't have the same kind of system. So we have to create all of these other ways to kind of take different future ideas and express them. So I'm saying this because what it means is that the future tense is going to be somewhat strange. And sometimes the rules will not be very clear, and I won't be able to tell you very perfect rules for this you use this you use this, and this you used this, because we don't have them. Uh, it's because the language is creating a system to kind of express one future idea, and then we take a different system for a different future idea, and then another system for another future idea. Some languages, especially a language like Spanish or Portuguese, says, no, we're going to change all 3 ways. We're going to have a form for the future, a form for the present, and a form for the past. Done. But not English. So, if you get frustrated with this, or you say, why is it so complicated? Now you know why, and just, relax. It takes lots of practice and lots of time to begin to use these different forms in a very, very perfectly accurate way. So don't worry. So in addition to the grammar, we're also going to talk about vocabulary, specifically vocabulary to describe families and personalities and friends and kind of relationships, people. So the first future form, I picked what I think is probably the most familiar to you: will and shall. So will and shall are used to talk about promises, offers, suggestions, predictions, and instant decisions. So what do I mean about all of these? Well, promises. We use will when we want to say, I will do something. It is certain. Take my word, I will do this for you. Or we'll make it for offers, saying things, to offer help, or to, say, I can do this for you. We'll say will. Suggestions. This suggestions is where shall comes in. I will talk a bit about that in a minute. Predictions. We might make predictions about the weather with will. And then instant decisions. So what I mean by instant decisions are expressions about the future that you make right now. They just snap in your mind. You're sitting, you're working, and you go, ooh, I'll go make some coffee. I'll I will. I'll go make some coffee. That's that instant decision, that in the moment. So how do I use them? What's the form? Well, the form is actually very, very simple here. Subject plus will plus verb in the base form. What someone might say is the infinitive without to. Just the verb, no change. Very simple. So it's going to be the same for everything and everyone. I will, you will, he will, we will, they will. Very simple. But then some of you went, hey, you said I will. Your chart says I shall. You said we will. Your chart says we shall. Why is that? Well, a long time ago in English, historically, there was a difference between will and shall. So, shall was for first person, I and we. We used those. And then will was for second person, you, and third person, he and they. Today, this this difference is becoming less and less important. So in American English, we completely forgot. No idea. We never think about it. We never use it. In American English, we will use shall when we want to sound very posh and special and, oh, you shall do this, we shall do that. But really, it doesn't matter. We don't use it. British English still uses it today, though. Many varieties of British English will still have this distinction, I shall and you shall, when you make suggestions and when we make questions. So here's some more examples of this, maybe to make it more clear. So an example of a promise is the first, I won't go to the party without you. So here we use the negative contraction, won't, will not. And that's my promise. I promise I will not do this, so I won't go to the party without you. Or the next example, an offer. I'll help you tomorrow. So this is my offer. I will do this for you. So we'll use will to express this tomorrow. Next, a prediction about the weather. It will rain tomorrow, I'm sure. That kind of it's a blend of the instant and the prediction there in that moment. Oh yeah, I see the clouds. It'll rain tomorrow, I'm sure. And then here's an example with shall. Here it comes. Shall we go out to dinner tonight? That's an example of a suggestion. I look to my partner and say, shall we go out for dinner tonight? That sounds nice. And there is where shall will come. However, in American English, does anyone know what might be more common in American English? If you can guess it, go ahead and type in the box. Yeah, it should. So we'll say, should we go out for dinner tonight, more commonly in American English. So really, this is an example where it's your choice. If you like shall and you want to use it, then follow these rules here, I shall, we shall, in the chart. And know that for suggestions, especially questions, we'll use shall. Shall we go out for dinner tonight? Shall we go to the movies? Shall I do the dishes? Shall we clean the carpet? Shall we, make the bed? Any kinds of those questions, suggestions where you're asking someone, is this a good idea to do? Shall will come in British English. So that's just a fun bit of language history. It shows change between dialects in time. So that's your choice. One of the benefits of learning, you get to choose which way do I want to say it, which way do I want to sound. British, American, a mix of both. Personally, I think shall is pretty cool. I use it more now that I teach in Dublin and teach in the UK than I did in the past because, I don't know, it's fun to sound a little bit fancy once in a while. So, pronunciation for these. Well, if you were here for the last class, you'll remember the pronunciation from then. It was contractions. Well, guess what? There are even more. So we've got even more contractions for will and shall. Fortunately, they are easier than the present continuous contractions from last lesson. So it'll be I'll, you'll, he'll, we'll, and they'll. These are all the positive contractions. Almost never will you say I will, you will, he will, unless we are really trying to make some emphasis. He will do the dishes tonight, or I will kill him. But uh, know that almost always an English speaker is going to use the contraction I'll, you'll, he'll, we'll. So let's practice saying those. It's a weird combination of letters and sounds. So repeat after me. I'll, you'll, he'll, we'll, and they'll. So here are some examples from previous sentences changed now to the contractions. I won't go to the party without you. There's again that negative contraction. I won't go. So we have positive contractions. I'll, you'll, he'll, we'll, they'll. And we have the negative contraction, won't. And it's the same for everything. I won't, you won't, he won't, we won't, they won't. We'll also use the contraction in pronunciation with subjects that are not pronouns. So let's look at the second sentence. Remember, this star means I do not recommend writing it. This is only for speaking. So an English speaker will say, Tina will help you tomorrow. They won't say, Tina will help you tomorrow. They'll say, Tina will help you tomorrow. So on almost any subject, positive will contract the LL. And again, another example, it'll rain tomorrow, I'm sure. So let's move on to the next grammar point, the present continuous for the future. So we've got a present tense used to express a future idea. Fun, right? So if you were here for the last lesson, this is going to look very, very familiar. It's the exact same rules, except the meaning is different. So now we use the present continuous to talk about future arrangements. And these are usually social events, travel plans, work, meetings, these kinds of ideas where people are coming together to do something. And the way we make it is the exact same for the present continuous. Subject, be, verb, auxiliary, and verb ing. So exact same rules, exact same structure. So let's look at some examples. We are meeting at 4 p.m. today. You see that in an email from your boss. We're meeting at 4 p.m. today. Or maybe you're talking to a friend. Oh yeah, this party is happening this week. We see is happening being the present continuous there to say this week in the future. Or, we are leaving at 8 p.m. So all of these ideas are kind of social plans, social ideas, or travel. That's where we express these future ideas with the present continuous. Now, can you guess what will be the pronunciation? You guessed correctly, contractions. Again. So they're back for the third time now. Yeah, for the third time. So these are the same as well from the previous lesson. The present continuous pronunciation is exactly the same. Fortunately, it's the same. So you only have to learn all this once. Same contractions. I'm, your, he's, she's, it's, we're, there, aren't, and isn't for the negative contractions. So some examples then. We are meeting at 4 p.m. today. Again, another time we'll do it. I don't recommend writing this, but this is how we would say it. The party's happening this week. The party's happening. Very common way to say this. And then Tina and John aren't leaving this week. So maybe you have guests. Someone asks, when are they leaving? Oh, they aren't leaving this week. They're leaving next week. There we would use the present continuous for all of that expression. Okay, so final future form, be going to. So be going to and the present continuous, I will warn you, are very, very similar. I will try to make the difference clear, but note in many circumstances where you use one, you can use the other. Maybe it's not perfect, but everyone will understand. So we use the be going to express future plans or intentions, as well as predictions. So what makes a future plan different from a future arrangement? Those are synonyms in the dictionary, plan and arrangement. It has that idea about sociality, travel, as well as when the plan is made or when it was kind of confirmed. Um, Often there is no difference between this and the present continuous, so don't worry too much if you find it difficult to see the difference, but I'll try to give some examples. So let's look at the form. The form is more complex here because we have more parts to this verb. We have the subject, the auxiliary verb be, which I've put in purple, going to in kind of a teal blue color, and then infinitive in a dark blue color. So subject, be verb, going, and infinitive verb, or going to infinitive. So let's look at an example here. I've matched the colors to the parts of the sentence so that it's easier to see. So my mom is going to buy a home this month. So my mom is the subject, and then is, be verb auxiliary, going, there's our match, and the infinitive, going to do what? She's going to buy a home. So there we have the full be, going, and infinitive is going to buy. So this is that idea of a future plan or intention. This idea is not a social arrangement. It's not any kind of travel, but it is a plan that my mother has thought about and said, yes, I will do that. So I'm going to buy a home this month. That's one way the present continuous and the be going to is a little different. It sounds a little strange to say my mother is buying a home this month because it sounds a little too friendly. So that's one way this is different. So let's look at another one. This is a prediction. Manchester United are going to win the match. So just my thought in the moment, my prediction, Manchester United are going to win the match. This is also a situation where you could use will. Manchester United will win the match. That's all right as well. But you might see both in this kind of situation. And then here's one where it makes totally no difference. We're getting married next year. We're going to get married next year. Here, honestly, no difference at all. We have the idea of a marriage, which is social. There's some travel involved, and it's a very set plan. You plan a wedding many, many months, maybe years ahead. So we say, whatever your choice, be going to, present continuous, both are fine. Okay, so what do you think then again is coming for pronunciation? Well, I can hear it. They're back. More contractions. Oh, yes, they'll never go away. So same contractions though as the present continuous. They're back again. So don't worry, there's not more to learn, but just know that the same contractions will be used for all of these different verb forms, and the only difference is going to be the meaning or the part that comes after the contraction. So let's look. We're going to get married next year. Here, I know this isn't present continuous because I have an infinitive after. So I have that infinitive to say, okay, this is be going to, not a simple present continuous. They aren't going to cook dinner. Again, negative contraction aren't, and then I have going to cook and going to infinitive, so I know this isn't present continuous. This is a be going to verb. So always look out for what comes behind the verb because that helps tell you what comes before the verb as well. They work together. So I've tried to make this kind of quick comparison to maybe help make things clear. What is the difference? This is kind of the best, the best I can say as a concrete example of what is one and what is the other. So the present continuous, future arrangements, usually travel or social events. That's where we'll use that. Be going to are going to be future plans and predictions. These are plans usually set a long time ago or are very, very strong, and they are plans that may or may not be a social event. Like the example of my mother buying a home, or uh, we are going to buy a new car. Again, these aren't really social events, they're just plans. And so that's where be going to is more common, whereas present continuous is again travel, social. And let's compare the grammar. They're both subject, be verb auxiliary. Uh, the only difference is now we have verb ing, which is going, and then we add an infinitive on the end. So it's very similar. You'll see the same parts, be auxiliary, verb ing. It's just be going to is set. It's going to be going to infinitive. Going infinitive was really the thing that marks the difference between the two structure-wise. All right. So, a lot of information. Let's try some practice. So, similar practice from before. I'll show you a sentence with a blank. You try to finish it, and then we'll talk about it. So I'll pause after each one to give you a moment to try to think of the answer. This will be somewhat complex because it's going to be all three, will, be going to, and present continuous. So don't worry if you don't get it right on the first try. This is practice. So here are some rules here on the side, or on the side to help. And so let's try. First sentence, my sister, a trip to Paris. The verb is plan. What do you think? Is it going to be will, present continuous, or be going to? All right. If you said is planning, you are correct. My sister is planning a trip to Paris. Here we've got travel. Clearly travel. So it's more natural to use the present continuous in this context. Okay, here's another. Blank your brother blank this summer. Get married. Ooh, two blanks, question mark. So we know we're bringing back the subject auxiliary version from last lesson to make the move. So what do you think? Will, present continuous, or be going to? Well, good news. Two different ones are correct. Is going to get, getting married. It makes no difference. Is your brother getting married this summer, or is your brother going to get married this summer? You know, this one there's no good rule. Take your pick. Okay, here's another. Don't worry. I blank it up. Verb is clean. What do you think? Will, present continuous, be going to? The phrase there, don't worry, is kind of a clue as to what's best. So if you said, will clean, good job, you're correct. So this is an offer. In that moment, it's also an instant decision. So, don't worry, I'll clean it up. I knocked over my cup. So let's look at the next. I blank a film tonight. Verb is see. How about am going to see? I'm going to see a film tonight. Maybe you picked present continuous. I'm seeing a film tonight. So this is one of the ones where it's not a clear rule because you might say, oh, a film is social, so why not? It's just about that intention. So you normally don't make a film in that moment like, oh gosh, I will see a film. It's a little too sudden. You think about it, you go, yeah, the cinema sounds. I think the cinema should not be social. There should be no talking. So maybe that's one way you can try to make the difference. So final one, I blank your luggage for you. Verb is carry. Will, present continuous, be going to? Well, if you said will carry, you're correct. So I'll carry your luggage for you. Maybe you're in the airport. You see a very kind-looking old lady who is struggling to carry her luggage, and you run, oh, no, I'll carry your luggage for you. Don't worry, I'll help. There you've got that offer to do something for someone else. I will do this for you. I will carry your luggage. So we'll use will to express that. All right. So now it's time for vocabulary. So we can put the grammar down. Don't forget it. is very important, but we can put it down for a moment to move to some vocabulary. As I said, we'll be talking about personality mainly, family, friends, and sorts. So what I'm going to do this time is we're going to do vocabulary as activities. So I have words that I think you might know some, maybe not others. So I'm going to show you 6 words and 6 definitions. Or sorry, 6 words and 5 definitions. You need to match. So for example, the first one we have words ambitious, sensible, reliable, affectionate, and anxious. So all you need to do is then match them across. So for example, ambitious matches with letter C, a person who wants to be successful. Fun note, ambitious in English is somewhat of a positive idea. An ambitious person is good to have in your company because they will work hard and work to succeed. If you want the negative idea, we say over ambitious, and then that's someone who tries too hard, is kind of crazy for maybe power. But so I'll give you maybe 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, trying to match these 5 definitions to the correct words. And yes, feel free to use process of elimination. If you know one further down, go ahead and uh, mark them down until you've got your best guess for each answer. As well, maybe you've realized there are 5 definitions in 6 words. That was intentional. I gave you an extra to make it just a little bit more challenging. Wouldn't be fun if it's too easy. I also maybe want to help this word here, practical, a person who is practical. Uh, this is going to be someone who is very smart, and they think and they plan. They are rational. They look at a situation and go, okay, I don't care about what I want. I care about what is the most logical, rational thing to do. What is the smartest thing to do in this situation? Uh, Someone who is practical, when you give them 100 euros, they will divide it for the 7-day week, maybe. They say, okay, you gave me 100 euros for 7 days, so then I divide the 100 for each day. So that's the idea of practical. All right, so let's see what the answers are. So number 1 I did for you, C, a person who is successful is ambitious. So number 2 is D, a person who is practical is sensible. Be careful with these words, especially from Latin languages, they are false friends. So a person who is practical is sensible. Number 3, E, reliable is someone you can trust. A reliable person you know will always do what they say they will do. You can trust them. And then we have number 4, affectionate is someone who likes to show their love. So what I mean by affectionate is you can also use this to describe animals like cats and dogs. When a dog licks your face or a cat rubs across your legs, they are being affectionate. They are showing their love. And then number 5, bossy, is B, someone who likes to give orders, or you're a boss. Boss, bossy, you can see the connection. So the one we don't need is anxious. Anxious then means someone who is nervous, someone who worries a lot about the future. They worry about the outcomes of situations. What will happen if I do this? What's going to happen if I do that? That is someone who is anxious. All right, so let's try another set. I have another 6 words for you. Of course, again, there's one more than the definition, and I won't do one for you. Uh, so do your best. You'll have another few minutes. Try to go ahead and match the ones that you know already. So I do want to talk a bit about number H, a person who is easily hurt. Um, I don't mean physical pain, like a cut. No, I'm talking about emotional pain. So if you say to someone, mm, that outfit doesn't look very good, they will feel very bad. They will worry a lot. That is someone who is easily hurt. The kind of emotional pain. The next, a person who does not change their mind. To change your mind is to accept new information. So someone who does not change their mind will see new information and go, eh, no thank, fake news. All right, so I hope you got some of them matched. It's okay if you don't have them all. So let's look at the answers. So number 7, sensitive, is H, a person who's easily hurt. So there's our false friends there, sensitive, sensible. Sensible is practical. Sensitive is easy to hurt emotionally. And then number 8 is letter I. So stubborn is a person who will not change their mind. The common association in English is that a donkey is stubborn. Number 9, that's the one we don't need, sociable. Uh, so we also have more related friends here. Sociable is someone who enjoys parties, they enjoy talking, they enjoy meeting and greeting. Um, so it's just kind of a friendly person. Sociable and friendly are not perfect, but close synonyms. Maybe you matched that to letter F. If you did do that, don't worry, we'll come to that one. So next is independent. This is someone who likes to do things on their own. Someone who is independent. They don't really want help. They are happy to work. They are happy to try. They want to do it on their own so that they can say, yes, I did that. No one else. And then we have charming. Charming is letter F here, a person with an attractive personality. So charming is someone that you meet for the first time and you go, wow, what a really cool person. I really like that person. That's someone who's charming. Sociable is more just about talking, the idea that I like to talk to people, I like to see new people. Charming is people like me when they meet me. So if maybe you or your friend or you know who is like this, you can say they're charming. Repeat after me. Ambitious, sensible, reliable, affectionate, bossy, anxious, sensitive, stubborn, sociable, independent, charming, competitive. I'll do number 12 one more time, especially in American English. You might hear a D sound. This is just part of the American accent. British English uses more of a T sound, so they might say competitive. Um, your choice, whichever you find easier. Competitive, competitive, no difference. All right. I have another vocabulary task. This one now we're going to do opposites. So I tell you one word. Well, I tell you a list of words, and then you tell me what's the opposite meaning. So, for example, number 1 is clever or smart. The opposite is stupid. Um, Clever and smart. Clever is more British, smart is more American, but the connected word, the opposite word, stupid, is the same for all. So let's go to the next one. Quiet. What's your guess? What do you think the opposite of quiet is? Not loud. If you said loud, no, we're looking for talkative. So quiet actually has two meanings when you describe a sound and when you describe a person. A quiet person, well, yes, they may talk much lower. The idea is that they do not talk very often. They do not like it, or they just do not feel the need to. They don't talk very often. So the opposite is talkative. All right, responsible. What do you think? Hmm? Irresponsible. It's kind of a trick question. So watch out that some of these adjectives, while their opposite is another word, some of them make their opposite with a prefix, something you add to the beginning. So our words will attach the prefix ir, irresponsible. All right, let's go to the next one, shy. Outgoing. Did anyone guess outgoing? So there we have outgoing meaning, oh, I want to do, I want to meet, I want to see, I love people, I love talking, I love parties. That's outgoing. Or shy is the opposite. Maybe I need time to talk to you. I need time to go to a party. All right, lazy. What's your guess? Opposite of lazy. Answer is hardworking. There are a couple adjectives that connect. So maybe you said something else. It's probably okay. I think the best for lazy, our idea is hardworking. A lazy person is someone, ugh, I just don't want to do it. Or a hardworking person is, yes, I can do it, no problem. So you can use those as well. So let's go to the next one, honest. What do you think? Dishonest. Another trick one. This one is not liar. It's dishonest. So again, we have a situation where the opposite is made by a prefix, dis. Okay, next, insecure. Opposite, not secure. The opposite is confident. Yep, so we do have the word secure, but now you are talking about a lock and a key, or security. Whereas insecure, talking about a person, means I am not confident. So those are the matching there. Be careful not to say secure for confident, because it's not the same meaning. All right, patient, opposite. Impatient, yep. So now we have another prefix. We have im, because the first letter sound is p here, impatient, so we match them together. And then finally, friendly. Unfriendly, not rude, just unfriendly. Although, yeah, rude probably works here as well. Here we go. Here's a good list of additional vocabulary to describe people based on words and their antonyms, or the opposites. All right. That was a lot of information in today's lesson. So take some time to review, download the paper that is attached to the file, the notes, so that you can have these PowerPoint slides to review and have for your notes. So I'm just going to show everything here again. Here's kind of a quick summary of everything we talked about with the future tenses here. Will for promises, offers, predictions, and instant decisions. Grammar is very easy. Subject, will, verb in base form. Then we have be going to for future plans that are not social, future plans that are not travel, and predictions again. So subject, be auxiliary, going, infinitive. And now we have the future continuous. These are for future arrangements, often social, and travel. And again, it's going to look very similar to the one before. Subject, be auxiliary, verb, ing. In addition, we talked a lot again about everyone's favorite thing, contractions. Woo! So we talked all about those. Don't forget them. All of these grammar points have lots of contractions. So Don't let them, don't throw them away. Keep them in your mind. You're going to hear them again and again and again. And then we reviewed some personality vocabulary. All right. So that's everything for today's lesson. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you either reviewed some rules that you already know, or I hope I helped make something a little more clear about these future tenses and how they work and why, as well, they are not so perfectly separated with rules. Um, and maybe I hope I showed you a new word you can use to describe your father, your mother, your friend, your sister, your uncle. Maybe you can send them a quick text. Oh, my sister, I think you're so charming. Um, maybe you want to say it as a joke, but maybe you can use one of these words today. And always feel free to ask questions here at the end at this conclusion section. This is the best time to ask questions about anything from the lesson. I'll do my best to try to answer in the chat and explain anything that wasn't clear or you didn't know. So please go ahead, type out your questions now, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. But so, as I said, that's everything. Thank you all so much for coming to SEDA College Online, and I hope to see you again at the next intermediate class. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.